Okay, so I'm going to be giving an improvisation, a spontaneous improvisation. I still don't know what I'm going to do as I'm talking now. I mean, in as much as I have a certain instruments laid out, this is the first time I've ever had these instruments laid out. Last time I was here I had a different selection of instruments. I had about 700 instruments, so I've got quite an arsenal to pull from for any one performance. And that's somewhat other constraints then, such as the amount of space I've got to put things out, the amount of time that I have. So these are factors as well. But so I know what instruments I've brought, I know what techniques I have, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So that kind of, there's a aspect of that where there is a certain amount of indeterminacy or chaos, but which is kind of connected with Zen Buddhism in a sense. But the Zen Buddhists speak of a trained unconscious. So I began improvising in 1968, so I've got 42 years of training behind me. And I was working in avant-garde jazz in 1968, working with the top people in Europe. But then in 1973, in 71, I already started to add singing bowls and things. I got my first gong in 1968. I now have 45 gongs, but I brought one along this evening. So I was already starting to move into what I would call meditative music or meditative improvisations in 1971. So in 1973 I decided to stop playing with other musicians because none of them were interested in doing meditation music, which is fair enough, and no reason why they should be. I was probably the only person at the time. There wasn't a lot of money in it, there wasn't a lot of fame either, just the way I've been. So there are those things that feed into the improvisation. So just in the same way that if you're a disciple of Zen or any spiritual path, there are certain disciplines that you are expected to take up. So non-violence will be one, for instance, and no anger, things like that. So similarly, my musical improvisations also avoid these same things, violence or whatever, anger and stuff, because I don't wish to add to those energies on the planet. There's enough people doing that already. So that restricts my improvisation in a sense, in terms of the areas of energy that I can go into or choose to go into. Other improvisers could be free of that and have no restrictions upon them whatsoever. They can make whatever noise they make, whether it's ugly or doesn't matter. But I try and avoid ugliness, or out and out ugliness. I mean, it's a question of balance as well. So it's a question of, if I just made one beautiful sound all night, I'm sure that would be okay, but it wouldn't be very entertaining, and it could even become very boring and whatnot. So I have a whole range of different things, so then of course contrast comes into it, and contrast is also to do with consonance and dissonance. Well, that doesn't mean, in this area of sound, that's not as meaningful as in music which is played on specific scales, where you can talk about a specific consonance or a dissonance. But these also explore micro tunings. So that's to say the notes between the notes. So if you had a piano or this organ like here and you moved up through the scale, there are other sounds between those notes that other musics on the planet explore, and that I will be exploring as well. And a certain acoustic phenomena. So As I say, it's largely of a kind of meditative persuasion. Fortunately for me, most of these instruments have been used for meditation or healing, so I'm already working on a tradition, if you like, that goes back many centuries. And then I'm also trying to supply inspiration and aspiration, so it isn't purely and simply a relaxation thing where you can just, I mean, you can relax to these sounds, but I'm also striving to go, I've always been striving to get beyond that and to build a bridge between the inner worlds, the invisible worlds, and this physical level of life. And again, these instruments are well suited to those things. So I just wanted to say a little bit because I wasn't sure how the advertising had been. It seems that several people have turned up from an advert in the Echo, and that's been a bit, hasn't given all the information. So I thought it might be useful if I spoke a little bit. Anybody who was here last time can see that I brought different instruments to last time. So it will be, it's going to be different. Just how different. So I hope you